Welcome to my house. All right. uh, what's up, guys? How are you? How are you folks doing? How are you fine folks of the subscribers that I have that stick with me after all these years? How are you guys? I want to know how you guys are doing. I have been getting a few messages, emails, all of those things. Not really like emails, just messages really through my social media like Instagram and X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. I still call it Twitter. But and you guys have been just super kind and just awesome and amazing, and I'm just it's weird in a good way because I have my own life here. We all have our own lives and all those things, and just to see others out there, people who their names through email, their names through, social media, but you never really have talked to them in person, but you develop this relationship of sorts, based off of the things, the common interests that you have. So in this case, pop culture, movies, comics, toys, all those things, things that we all can just talk about and just have fun discussing. But it's weird because most of the things that you would hear in a comic book store or in a collector shop or anything that has to do with pop culture, collecting, all of those things, um, there's so many discussions about, you know, opinions and things, that about, a movie that you've seen or a certain show that you're watching and all of those things. You want to share that with everyone. You share your opinion and you can be as pessimistic and as cynical as you want to get. You can be as honest and all of those things. But once you display that on the internet, it's a whole different world when it reciprocates, because a lot of people are really tough, of course, behind the keyboard or behind the phone in this case. Mostly, the majority is on the phone. Uh, Very few people are still using the PC to surf the net, but mostly people use their phones to surf the internet and all that stuff. It's a completely different world. So, but if you understand the world of the internet, if you understand the language, and in this case, the language is just it could be vile, it could get really hateful, and a lot of people also go on the internet to seek validation. It's pretty weird because we live in a world where now people depend on the internet for self validation or what have you, voicing your opinion and all of those things. Don't be dismissive, listen, all of that shit. You hear a lot of people talking about free speech, but then when they don't like what they hear, they go out of their way to do something about it to shut you down or to take away your right to just say whatever you want to say. On the flip side of that coin, there's also no freedom of consequence. So there are rules to things. There are rules in places. So you just got to be really built, for the social media reaction to things. You got to have the patience. You got to have the will. You also have to have a goal. I see a lot of people on YouTube, on the internet, social media, um, using these platforms. Not so much n- YouTube now. It's different than it was, like, let's say, 5 to 10 years ago. Because YouTube is definitely not a get rich quick scheme of a platform. If that's what's in your head, you have to delete all the information that people have fed you, or whatever you have in your head, just get it out. It's not that. Going on TikTok is not a get rich quick scheme. Going on any social media, don't do it for the money. Do it because you want to do it. Do it because you love doing it. I do this continuously because I enjoy, communicating with you guys. getting my opinion out there, my voice out there for people who want to look for someone who, aside from your popular, YouTubers out there, let's see what someone else has to say about this. What are the opinions out there? And that's what I'm really here for. In case anyone cares. But I just enjoy also doing it because the subscribers that I have right now, my base amount, that's you guys have, like I said before in the opening of this video, you have really just stuck by me. You've never unsubscribed. You've been in contact with me by shooting me emails, commenting on things, shooting me messages on, through my social media, through Twitter, all that stuff. So I am thankful for that, especially for this week, Thanksgiving, uh, talking about giving thanks. That's one thing that I am very thankful for are the people that have followed me through my YouTube journey. And I'm not going to say career because I didn't make a career out of it. Would love to one day, but that's not. It wasn't the priority. I do this for fun, and if I happen to get paid for it, like other YouTubers do, and all of that stuff, great, cool, awesome. That's a benefit. I do have, mm, you know, stuff that comes through from Google. Certain things were grandfathered in when I made this channel a long time ago, so I'm fortunate about that. But I haven't really sat here and go over, like a set schedule on when I want to do this. I would love to one day, possibly soon, because where I'm at right now is pretty permanent. So I do have an established location to do this. My problem before was that it was always inconsistent because of my location, and that won't be much of a problem. So I'm looking forward to seeing how things unfold, which is why I'm here doing this now because I have the time. I have found. I have found. I found this year to be very interesting. Um, Outside of my personal life, it's been a wild year for pop culture. So I want to get into those things more and also talk about, the things that, you know, this year as far as films go. I haven't been talking I haven't shared my opinions on Superman, Weapons, Sinners, all of these films that have come out this year, mostly Warner Brothers films. We've got Stranger Things season 5 coming out this week, so I can't wait. I'm definitely going to have a review for that on this channel. I will binge that. I will watch those in parts, give you guys a review. I'm just a little worried because I watched a scene that they released. Well, they released two. One was the opening 5 minutes of, I believe, the first episode. That was okay, but then they released a clip with 11 that was not good. I did not like that. But it's less than a minute, so I can't get too crazy about it. But sometimes small things reflect the big picture. So, but we'll see. But I'm looking forward to it. It's the final season, which is weird because it's been 10 years, 5 seasons. And I get it. Some people are going to say, well, they take a long time to make because they're like movies. Very true. But still, 10 years. It doesn't take 10 years to develop a story, you know? So um, I don't care. We live in a world where they punched out 23 to 24 episodes a season of Star Trek The Next Generation, and there's a lot of special effects and a lot of stuff. I get it, but to me, special effects doesn't really matter. It's stories, it's the story, it's the characters. Do I care about them? It's all of those things. Speaking of shows, I'm watching Welcome to Derry. I really wanted to not like it. I'm going to be real with you. I really wanted to not like it because I don't like Stephen King as a person. Uh, as a writer, he's fantastic, but anything with his name on it, it's just sort of tainted now because Stephen King has proven within the past 10 years of social media, of having a Twitter account, of how much of a creep he is. And it's amazing how celebrities like himself tell on themselves without telling on themselves. And you could argue and go back and read it, uh, and there's a part in that book that today you'd read and just kind of you're like, this is pretty fucking gross. I get there's a thousand ways you could have resolved that issue with avoiding that. Um, Anything that involves children, the fetishize that and put that in your book and give it a narrative to have an excuse to put your fetish into your story. Like, come on, bro. Like that's where I'm kind of like, and a lot of Stephen King passionates out there are gonna probably listen to this and go, like, no, that's flexing it. That's a hard flex. That's a hard reach. Well, no, it's not because, like I said, if you go on his Twitter account and you see all these posts that he made, these political posts that he puts up and then deletes later, and then of course he got into some hot water uh, with his latest book when he was promoting it by talking shit on Charlie Kirk, basically. And then he deleted it, backtracked, dialed back hardcore, and then tried to say, well, it was like this. This is what I meant. And really, really, it's really telling when celebrities um, tell on themselves. And very much like, the radio star was killed by the video, uh, the celebrity, the movie star, the celebrity, the internet killed the celebrity. The internet killed the movie star, but mainly celebrities because they have them, and then they post shit that's out there that's really weird and strange, and everything just seems to get too political in a sense. Where on one side, I get it. A lot of what's happening in politics influences the things that I love, franchises, comics, what have you. Okay. I don't get political. I don't get political. But lately, with everything that's been going on in this climate, it's kind of hard to not talk about it. But I try to just kind of, you know, whatever this motion is, that's what I'm doing. Is I'm just trying to avoid it. But when people throw, well, you gotta think like this. It's like, no, I don't, because one can do their homework and figure things out for themselves and think for themselves. But when you are part of a group think, um, it's kind of like an echo chamber, basically. But when you're part of the same group that thinks the same, like that's dangerous. And I've noticed a lot of the people who claim to be a party about love and compassion and inclusivity and all of those things, it was really the party of the opposite, where they discriminate and tarnish, and they're very hateful when you have an opinion. Like it's strange, and so and I tell people, don't get into politics, don't even get into politics. You know why? Because for one, everything's just bad news. And second, there is no winner. You're never gonna get what you want, ever. And you're never ever going to get uh there's no winners. There's no winners. So, and when people say, well, that's just a cop out, Josh. No, it's not. The reason why people don't favor people like myself, who they don't dismiss what's going on, but they don't let things that's like, I can't control what's happening. So, with that being said, why would I let that influence my nerves? Why would I let that influence my stress levels? Why would I let that influence my judgment on people? Most of all, lots of relationships have been tarnished because of political discussions. Ugh, it's weird and creepy and super insanely psychotic. Nobody likes stress. Okay. Okay, stress sucks. All right, I just had a friend who just went through a divorce, with a piece of shit, basically. Um, if you're married, look, if you have to walk on eggshells, you know, with the person that you're with, that's not a relationship. That's not a marriage. That's not anything. You need to be with someone who is your best friend, someone who who is with you through thick and thin. On the flip side, it doesn't give you an excuse to be an ass. But, you know, because stress sucks. Stress is terrible. Stress is worse than smoking. Okay? It can be. It's bad for you. All right. And I've managed over the past now couple of years to manage those things. I've lived a life that's completely different than the people in my family and most of my friends. That it's different. Now, a lot of people will look at my life and go, "Well, it's a bit juvenile, and you were too late in having kids, and blah 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 blah." I just take it as like, you're just jealous because you didn't get to live your 20s and 30s like I did, and actually get to live, struggle, uh, understand what desperate is. You have to get through the bad shit to find the good, and that's what I did. There's a lot of things that I went through that I had to crawl through shit just to get here to where I'm at right now. And I've made some poor choices when I was young. I've made some I made some fucked up choices, man. I've done drugs. A lot of people in my family don't know that. I've done so much drugs in my 20s that I can't remember some of the things that have happened in my youth because I was so fogged up on weed, cocaine, I tried heroin, I tried pills. I did so much shit. I should have fucking died. And a spark of that happened in high school. I took all what, like 12 pills of I forgot what the fuck it was. And yeah, I was fucked up. I could have gone under cardiac arrest and die. But I didn't. I didn't. Um my body's too stubborn. My body is a pirate, man. I'm Keith Richards without the talent. But no, I've done a lot in my life. And this is not some sort of like, oh, fucking poor me, pussy powwow pity party here. You know, I don't regret the things that I've done in my life because without those things, without any of those things, I wouldn't be the person I am today, the person who I am that I like today. And everything is a learning lesson. Now, I don't do drugs anymore. I smoke weed, but I don't do drugs. Okay, so for anyone that's sitting there is like, oh my god, I wonder how long he's been. No, I'm good. I'm clean. I'm sober as fuck. Okay, but that that's the thing. A lot of people are going to say, well, smoking weed, it's 2025. Okay, I'm not going to be a nurse. I'm not going to be a police officer. So, but going in all seriousness, okay, I am a father. Um, I have two wonderful dogs. No, I'm kidding. No, but honestly, I have a family, and I, it's there comes a time in your life where you have to learn. I went through a lot of shit to learn. And a lot of people wouldn't agree with the lifestyle that I chose, and I understand that. I do. I have no judgment towards anyone. Um, I bust a lot of balls, but at the end of the day, um, it's I'm happy. Happy. Everything has been aligned. The stars have been aligned. Um, I went through a lot of experiences, like I said, in my youth, that shaped me, you know, to the person that I am today. And we've all All done shit, man. We've all done shit. So for anyone out there acting like, "Oh, I haven't done it," you're full of shit. You are full of shit. All right? Smells like shit. That's because you were lying. Don't be too insecure. Okay? We live in a world also today where, like I said, the climate has changed so much within the past year, um, that people are just, people, you could see when it comes to like this year at the box office, movies like Superman should have been a smash hit, should have been a $1 billion hit. It did all right, but they want to say 600 million is the new $1 billion success, whatever. Okay, fine. And it's weird because when these movies came out, you had some hardcore stands out there online, okay, defending these things. Isn't it weird that I went from drugs to Superman? See how we transition to things? That's how I live. I don't give a fuck. We just live and let live. Um, but anyway, no, but going back to my point, stress is terrible. Stress is terrible, and communication is a big thing too. So, for those of you who communicate to me on a monthly basis, even to just check up if I've seen this movie or whatever, because I haven't done a video for that particular thing. It's great. Communication is what binds everyone together. Okay, and in a world filled with assumptions, um, and all of this insinuations, all of this stuff. People just need to fucking talk. Okay? They just need to talk. And if you're somebody who, you know, bucks and hides and runs and avoids the problem, then you are not only doubling down, but you are tripling down on an issue that you probably wish got resolved, but you don't ever get to see it resolved because you keep doing the same things over and over and over and over and over again. And if that keeps happening, then you have to ask yourself, what is it that's screwing things up? And once you eliminate the equation, you start to see the bigger picture. And unfortunately, it's a skill set a lot of people don't have. Um, and what's great is that I am surrounded by a group of people who don't kiss my ass. They tell me the things that I need to know. Because if I live with yes people, then I'm in deep shit. Okay. I may have the illusion of living a great life, but ultimately I'm going to start seeing people around me that I care and love lose respect for me and start to not talk to me anymore. And that's one thing that I see happening in the future when it comes to things that are so minuscule. Before, I used to be somebody who cared about a lot of things. I used to take things so much to the heart, but over the past decade, like I said, life experiences, disappointments, abandonment, all of those things shape you as a person. And people don't realize that they are like the Dr. Frankenstein's to the Frankenstein monster. But I'm not saying that people are monsters, but I'm just saying that be careful how you treat people because you may get the same in return. And listen, I have had my share of blowbacks. I've had my share of people, throwing it back to my face when I deserved it, and I own up to it. I take accountability for my actions, and I can acknowledge that. It's not em- it's kind of embarrassing, but I don't embarrass easy now because also that would be a little narcissistic because again, you're thinking about yourself and your ego when the bigger picture is the outside, the person with feelings who's really fucking hurt. So, you know, stress is bad. Stress is not good. So, if you live or have people in your life that create that and bring that, okay? then you need to begin your exit strategy. I'm not going to kiss ass here because that's the truth. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, well, you should just bite your tongue and just put up with it. Uh, you're fucked. No, no one is. You don't have to be. Okay, people have the choice, and people have the choice to ignore a situation, a toxic, bad situation. What I fucking hate that word, toxic. I had to fucking use that word today, but but you see what I'm saying, right? So I just, it's just crazy, like that the amount of people who just sometimes they just don't get it. And if you sit there and try to figure it out, you're going to drive yourself nuts. I can't sit here and try to figure that out. Um, and you can't sweat the small stuff. But my biggest mistake, and I have to admit that, is that sometimes I just keep a lot of things balled up. And when everything becomes unleashed, everything I say is true, but I do more damage by not talking about it and keeping it all inside just for what, one day, just to blow it up on someone who doesn't really deserve it. But on the flip side of that coin, everything I say is true. So you just got to really just manage your arguments, pick your battles, um, and people need to stop. That's another thing I've noticed this year is that there are a lot of people online and people out there need to stop with this victimhood mentality. That's one thing that really chaps people's asses a lot in life, okay? And what I mean by this is if if you are at a certain point in life where you can't get over something, okay? I understand. There are things that people can't get over. That's life, okay? Have things that I can't get over, but I can't control those things anymore. It's ancient history. I don't have a time machine. Um, so I don't use that trauma, if it is even trauma, um, but if things from the past bother you so much, and there's a product there, okay, that you know, in this case, you know, don't use people or other things as punching bags. Okay, is what I'm trying to say. Don't make people feel guilty for simply existing, like Sydney Sweetie. All that shit that's been happening this year. Oh my god, just thought about that just now. Okay, let me talk about this for a second. Sydney Sweeney. Okay, um, uh, an actress who no one gave a shit about 2 years ago. Um, she is. I first off, I like her a lot. I think she's awesome. She seems like a nice person. It was the dig on Madam Web that she did on SNL that made me go, "Who is this person? This person, cool. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous, yes, but she's also a walking middle finger to the people who can't get over shit." So going back to when I was talking about, you know, about people holding grudges or, you know, trauma, whatever it is that they have that they're holding, um, this is it's like it's kind of like that if you want to, you know, throw in some pop culture, you know, reference in a sense, but she's a real person. So, and she's getting a lot of hate from people who just don't like her because she's white. So they're just kind of like weird, self-loathing white liberal women who probably can't land a date. I don't know. They go online and they just fucking they just try to tarnish this woman, and then she comes out with this film that I still want to see called I think it's called Christie. It's about this boxer. Um, and I like stories like that, you know, underdog stories like that. And she's in this film. She worked her ass off for this movie. Came out in like I think like 2000 theaters, and oh gee, look what happened. It flopped. Okay, 2,000 theaters, got it. But when that happened, everyone jumped on it and just said, "Oh, see, it flopped because of her. She's a MAGA. She's this. She's that." And then Ruby Rose came out and said, "She's a cretin. She's wrong for the part. How can she play a lesbian if she's a Republican and this and blah 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 blah." All this fucking discrimination shit. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't give a fuck about politics unless it affects me or my family. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Right now, I don't feel any effects right now at exactly this moment. Do I like our president? No. I think he's kind of an ass, but there's also a lot of weirdos on the left. And unfortunately, for those of you who are watching who's a Democrat, or I'm going to make fun of both sides, but y'all are really fucking making it easy for me. Okay. It's just you guys have been so bizarre this year that I feel weird defending conservatives because there's things about the conservative side that I can't stand. And today, you could argue and say that the today's Republican is the Democrat of 25 years ago. So that's got a lot to do with it too. Whereas I'm like, why am I defending the Republicans so much. It's not really defending. It's more like, well, I'm not really saying shit about them because they haven't done any creepy shit. They do a lot of stupid shit and a lot of asshole shit, but not creepy shit. Like pedophilia and shooting people in the neck. For having an opinion and taking away a father and a husband. Shit like that. Um, it's been a wild year, man. Charlie Kirk, when that happened, the day before 9/11. I mean 9/11 this year, not 9/11 2001. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, no. But that was wild, man. Because look, Charlie Kirk was someone that I watched. A lot of people watched, and if you didn't, if for those people, I know there's people out there that watched him on their phone. They didn't tell anybody, but they probably agreed with a lot of the things he said. But because he, defends Donald Trump, you don't want to go out there and look like you're defending Donald Trump. And this is the fucking stupid groupthink that the leftists have. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. Charlie Kirk was a human being. He was a father, he was a husband, and he just had really solid, legitimate opinions. And he gave others the opportunity to talk in a world where you can't even have a conversation without someone jumping at your throat, assuming what party you are and who you love and what you are as a person, and all of those things from both sides. So Charlie Kirk was that guy. Even if you didn't agree with 90% of the things that he said, you have to admit that the guy gave other people an opportunity and he didn't go crazy in the conversation. He didn't get loud. He let you spoke. He let you speak. He was listening to people. There was videos where he was talking about how he is a man who's a Christian. He's, all of this stuff. He's a Republican, and he's talking to a trans person, and this trans person was ready to jump at him, and this person was ready to get on them like, yo, I'm ready, fuck it, let's go. And at the end of that 5-minute segment, they both thanked each other, and the whole vibe was like, man, this is what the world should be. And the fact that we have to display an example is mind blowing because we should have advanced. We should have been way advanced in society, like to where like words are just like shit. It doesn't even bother us. You know what I'm saying? Like it's insane that we let words hurt us. We let words have power. I mean, I don't. I say a lot of things. I say a lot of foul shit, but that's because words don't have power in that sense. For me, I'm not saying it like you better listen because I say it this, you know. It's just freedom of expression. Everyone has the right to do that. That's what's great about this country is that you could disagree and you can boo me and we could still walk away and breathe. You know what I'm saying? Um and not hurt anyone physically or anything like that. Or impose on someone's safety. Like none of that. So I don't know. Like for us, it's just it's mind blowing how people have changed, and I don't know if that's because I've changed. I know I've changed. I'm not so held back. Um, I was always afraid of people's reactions to certain things, um, and that rippled effect into poor choices and making decisions based on feeling legitimate and all of those things. And again, I don't know what it was that made me change. I just have to say that I just lived a life that led me to this with this mentality, um, and knowing not to put up with any BS, not to fall for the BS. I don't feel sorry for people who make others feel like shit for simply existing, you know? I was never asked to be brought here. Nobody is, as a matter of fact. You weren't, okay? Nobody's asked to be brought here. So, and when you are watching someone grow up in front of you, it puts a lot of things in perspective, you know? And see, what's funny is that in my personal life, I'm a goofball. I'm funny. I love to give people the illusion that I just don't let things really bother me, in a sense, because I like to just dismiss problems. Again, that's bad though. But the second I get serious, it's one of those things where, like, the second I get serious and I don't play around and I am all about what I assume my family wants me to be, it's fucking scary. I'm vile. I am an asshole. I'm whatever you want to call me. Because my role in this life is jester. And I guess that's something that you also have to be careful too, is that you don't want to give people the illusion of anything because then people start to buy into that image and that's the role you play. Subconsciously, that's what they want you to stay as because, Joshua, he's just an idiot, right? Like he's not going to get mad. He doesn't get mad. He just lets everyone just walk all over him. Oh, you're so adorable. You're so adorable. So, but and just in general, just don't let others make you feel bad for nothing because their words are shit, and in this case, words are wind. So, but you also have to understand that people, uh, people just move on, and that was something that I had a hard time doing. I I have a network, a gene pool of sorts that has a lot of fear and all this stuff, that's surrounded by my DNA. I was born with all of these things in me, you know. But the question of nature versus nurture, it's a little bit of both, you know. Uh I've like I said, I've lived a life that I don't know if I would recommend others living like that, you know. This is just a unique situation. This is like a Peter Parker getting bitten by a spider. Fuck, you know? But that's cooler. My experience is interesting. Do I regret it? No, I don't regret a single thing because, again, those experiences, those things shape you to be the person you are today. And, there's a lot of things a lot of people don't know about me. And one day people will find out. I mean, nothing crazy. It's not like I fucking, I cross dress at home or anything like that. Uh, but you know, um, just ask me. You know, the thing that people are scared to do is ask questions. You know, people talk to people, communicate. Okay, it's not hard. We were born with pipes. We were born with lips, tongues, all of that stuff, you know? Somebody today was talking about their grandfather, and I said, "Man, I was thinking about my grandfather." And it's weird because in that situation, somebody was talking about their granddaddy, and I said, "Wow." So, because long story short, my friend lives with his granddad. It's the only family he's got left. So, he was talking about how much of an asshole he was, and I said, "Well, a lot of people said the same thing about my grandfather." And what's coincidentally weird, I feel like the spirit of him or something just came here. I looked on my phone and I found his picture with my mom's cousin. I think her cousin or her niece. I don't know. But it's a picture of them, and I took a picture of it because I had a phone, a new updated phone. I was testing the camera quality. Anyway, so then I thought about my grandfather, and I was like, shit. Now that's a dude. When I was young, um, he was just a problematic person. My grandfather. Um, he was a problematic figure. Eventually, at the end of the 20th century, uh, I remember it just the dude was always a problematic guy. But then as I grow older in life, as I experience shit in life, like certain movies or TV shows or books, even, okay, or songs, things sometimes don't work out in the beginning, but then over time, they age well because then you gain perspective. My grandfather was somebody who, today, at my age, the dude wasn't problematic. He was problematic to people who wanted the illusion of things in their way. He was problematic to the people who didn't like hearing honesty, cold, brutal honesty. He was problematic to people who have high expectations in life. But my grandfather had a way of bringing you back down to reality. And some people would say, well, no, that was just him being disrespectful. He was a hateful person, blah, blah, blah. Not that I've heard those things, but I can imagine those things being said about him today because my grandfather didn't put up with any shit. He was funny, he was cool, people liked him, people loved him. I've seen everyone outside of my family adore him, and I get it. You like what you see, but you never lived with the guy. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Man, well, he was great and he was correct in everything and blah blah blah." I only knew him for like 22 years of my life. But when I look back at the time that I was coherent and I was in my early 20s, I understand a lot of the things this man was trying to say. Nothing personal or anything like that, but just about life, society, things, how he reacted to things. And I thought that's weird. As an older man at 39, about to be 40, holy shit. That was a dude who was ahead of his time. He was. And whether people like to hear that or not, I don't care. Doesn't really affect me. I love my life. I'm happy. Okay. These are just my opinions. Okay. So if my opinions trigger you, then I don't know. I don't know. Just seek help, find a way to cope. I'm not here to disrespect anyone. I'm not here to trigger anyone. I'm not here to tell people or you guys out there what to do or how to do things. I'm just telling you maybe maybe life did me good because this is just something that I wanted to share with y'all. And I've got great friends. I've got friends out there that I don't deserve to have, but I do. I love my friends. I have very few. I have I have everyone needs to find a Deb in their life. Hi Deb. Everyone needs to have uh, a Shane in their life, you know, a sense of wonder. Deb brings laughter, she brings joy, she brings this, she's one of my best friends and she's just got this, you know, she'd probably be like, God damn, dude, why are you talking about me? But you just need friends that make you feel like they make you see the best parts of you, and that helps. Having friends help. Shane, she's a 10-year-old who, she's just full of wonder. A Clint, these are people that I know in life. You need to find people uh, in your life that's like, I need that. I need that. It's not wrong to have friends. If you are married and you don't have friends because your husband told you or your wife told you, that ain't no fucking marriage. That's walking on eggshells. That's living in censorship. That's not healthy. It's going to eventually eat someone's soul up, and then it'll be too late by the time you want to say anything because life, it just keeps going. We can't go back. We just don't get any younger. So, um be kind, especially this week. It's Thanksgiving. Okay. I know this is the week where everyone goes crazy. Everyone's pulling their feel sorry for me's and all this shit because it's the holidays. And I'm over it. And you should be too. In fact, we should just all just like literally just this whole world should just shut the hell up and just be fucking be merry. It won't. It won't because everyone feels like they have to change the world. And that's everyone's problem. You just can't live. You just can't live and let live. Everyone's got to be like they feel like they're in a fucking movie or something. And it's really ancient. I have so much fatigue over it and I just don't care. I just don't care. It's just mind-blowing that families and friendships and all of this stuff tend to fall apart because of words and people, miscommunication, not really finding out the simplest fucking solution for the most minuscule issue out there. So, anyway, that's enough of that. Let's talk about Superman. Let's talk about weapons. Let's talk about sinners. Let's talk about all these movies that came out this year and flopped. The state of franchises, all of these things. I mean, it's been a wild year for movies and television. I'm watching Derry right now, and I think it's actually pretty good. Like I said, I wanted to hate it. I really wanted to hate it because I don't like Stephen King as a man. But I did like It Chapter 1 and 2. I do love The Shining. I do love Shawshank Redemption. Speaking of which, if you haven't watched Derry and you really want to watch it, I'm going to spoil it right now by talking about things. So if you don't want to know anything, then I suggest you try to just mute this, or if you've watched it this far, thanks for listening. But let's talk about Derry. I'm not going to go too deep into spoilers, but I will say this. Okay, Shawshank Redemption was one of my favorite films, still is one of my favorite movies. But it's very surprising to see that one of your favorite movies is now been bled into a universe where supernatural stuff happens, like The Shining, Derry, um, you know, um, I believe it's the character from The Shining. I think not. Is it Hanlon? Well, anyway, that character. It's the younger version in Derry. His character was also in Doctor Sleep. But you also have these other characters in the show that are interesting and fun to watch. And they kind of sort of changed up the origin of Pennywise, which I also dug. It was more coherent. It was much more. It was clearer and easier to follow, and it wasn't really convoluted. So I dug that. Um, but as far as everything else goes, Man, let's see. Tron came out. Tron was just it was visually it was cool, but the movie was ass. Um, every single Disney movie that has come out this year has pretty much flopped. Fantastic Four, look, Fantastic Four was not bad. That was actually good. I enjoyed that more than Superman. I enjoyed Fantastic Four more than I thought I would have. So, look, do I recommend it? Check it out. But um, the most comic accurate Galactus we've ever seen on screen wasn't crazy about the Silver Surfer. I was annoyed that it's not Norin Rad. It's Disney. Go figure. They would do something like that. And Disney's popular for trying to take something that is a boys franchise and trying to turn it into a girls franchise. And as Chris Gore says, it's a very costly decision. So um, Disney also came out with Predator Badlands this year, which after watching it twice, my viewings for it, I liked it less. Um, because when I watched it the first time, I thought interesting that they would do this. The trailers were terrible, but watched it anyway. I thought it was going to be a hit. It wasn't. It's not a hit. All this manufactured praise every time a movie comes out, for that weekend, and then it completely stops after that Monday. It's funny. They did the same thing with Tron. And with Predator Badlands, you've got Disney's Predator. That's pretty much what it is. It's Disney's Predator. You took a character, a species that was mysterious, scary, frightening. You knew nothing about it, and now you turn it into a thing where we see a predator getting defanged because he's shamed and has daddy issues. Alien Earth also came out this year, and I really wanted to love that show. I was so excited for it, man. And then those first two episodes, I was like, what is this? The concept alone of these children inside the butt, I was like, okay. And they did nothing with it. And at the end of the day, all it was, gee, how can we take the alien and make it into this cutesy little animal that we can tame? And within 1 year, okay, we've got the predator. Uh, you know, of course, it's Disney. Fuck the nuclear family. We've got daddy issues and brother issues, and we've got this young guy who's a runt of sorts. Um, and then there's articles how this movie is queer coded and all of this stuff. And the alien xenomorph is a pet. Congratulations, Disney. You did it. You did it. You took two of the most frightening things in sci-fi horror and you bitched them. Holy shit. Oh my dude, and they want to make a third Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Guys, the Predator franchise is fucked. Okay, like beyond repair. So, and movies for that matter. Uh, After this year, holy movies are fucked. Like even harder. Okay, like Minecraft made $1 billion. Jurassic World Rebirth made money. Universal is making it and kicking ass and taking I'm not a fan of Wicked. I'm not going to sit here and defend it. I saw the play. It's fucking boring. It's not for me. So I'm not going to talk shit on it. But this movie is racking up money. Okay. Universal is killing it, man. Universal has been successful and they will continue to be successful. Warner Brothers, holy shit, man. David Zaslav, he got played. He got played by James Gunn and DC, okay, promising all these things and all this stuff. So you come out with Superman, 600 million. Man, it's not as great as we hoped. Didn't even make more than Man of Steel. And this whole entire thing was predicated on doing better than what Zack Snyder started. And so far, the DC universe has not been impressive. It has been shit. Okay. So, Creature Commandos, get the fuck. Who cares? James Gunn does. So, he made that. People didn't watch it. It flopped. You got Superman. Superman. It was should have you're talking Superman. Superman. The comic book the fucking Superman. Do I have to explain? He's the granddaddy of superheroes. This guy inspired everything we see in comics today and in the history of comics. Okay? This movie should have been $1 billion. This movie should have brought movies back to where it's at. This should have been like cinema is back. Superman is here, an American icon in a world that's so divisive. We need the American flag, truth, justice in the American way. James Gunn, what do you say? James Gunn said, truth, justice, and the human way. And in that way, made $600 million at the box office. So you think, right? Oh man, we're going to follow this up with Wonder Woman and Batman, right? Because you've got lanterns coming out, which, okay. Um, so we're getting, no, Peacemaker season two. Okay. Some can argue and say Peacemaker season one was good. I thought it was weak. It was kind of boring and it was not good. Um, but whatever, let's go. We're going into this new universe, right? Somehow Peacemaker's in it. I Peacemaker is a Snyder character with the Suicide Squad, with Snyder's characters. The James Gunn did the Snyderverse Suicide Squad, right? Okay, so Peacemaker season 2. How does this fit in with Superman, the new universe film? Well, they kind of didn't explain it, but explained it, but with not really explaining it. So we just have to buy into it. Oh, wait, what's that? James Gunn's wife is in Peacemaker season 1? Oh, she's in season 2. Oh, oh, okay. So he opened up Pandora's box by casting his fucking wife in season 1 and the Suicide Squad. So now we have to figure out a way to kind of wedge her in all of these projects because she needs to be employed. So we're going to do Peacemaker season 2 as our follow-up to Superman, a fucking Superman movie. So Peacemaker season 2, you open up James Gunn promoting it, right? He says, "Kids, everyone, they need to watch season 1, Peacemaker, season 2, episode 1. It's going to be important because it's a follow up to Superman." Great, cool, we're in. What's the first episode have? Bisexual orgy scene. That's following your family friendly, kid friendly Superman movie with a family friendly flying dog. All right, cool. Peacemaker season 2. Okay, 10, what, 8 fucking weeks later, the show's done. All right, we're getting are we getting, okay, Man of Tomorrow has been announced, the Superman sequel. All right, here we go. Okay, well, now we're going in the right track. Brainiac's the villain, right? Cool, yes. Um, what are we following this up with? Wonder Woman. We got to get Wonder Woman, right? No? Batman? One of those two, right? One of those two. It's got to be the Trinity. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, right? It's got to be Batman or Wonder Woman, right? No. The Jimmy Olsen series. DC is fucked. That's all I got to say about the DC universe. And now there's talks about the Snyderverse being bought back because Warner Brothers is getting sold. I'm sorry, but for a company that is successful, you're selling it. Um, so that's what's happening. Paramount wants to buy it, but look, this Netflix wants to buy Warner Brothers. But if they do that, holy shit, man, it's gonna change the face of cinema for a long time financially. The marketing, everything. It's just gonna change and it raises so many questions. But then you've got the Saudis who want to buy the Snyderverse and they want to continue Zack Snyder's Justice League series, which I'm for. I think that's fine. It's cool. Um, the question is it going to be live action or is it going to be, animated? And I don't really care as long as you just tell the story. It'll be neat. Um, it was a universe that was going somewhere, and they just kind of like pull the rug out from them. So now we got this new shit universe. There's just been a lot of things that suck this year. Doctor Who, my favorite television show in the history of media, is canceled. It's on a hiatus, whatever. They just recently announced that there's going to be a Christmas special next year. And I was like, great, until it said written by Russell T Davies. And I went, fuck. And for some reason, Billy Piper is now the Doctor. They're going to have to touch on that. That was a loose end. There's so many things that they tarnished this year, with franchises and things alone, comics, shows. Oh, and we've got Frankenstein that came out this year, which was the best thing, one of the best films of the year. I do have a list of films. It's a very short list of my top favorite films of the year. Number one is Frankenstein. Number two would be F1. And I think very close third is Weapons. I love Weapons. Weapons was a fantastic film. It was original. It was also very it just kept you glued, man. There was just so many things happening with these people's stories. And I would say Sinners, but Sinners is kind of overrated. A lot of people praise Sinners, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this movie. And I watched this movie, and I found myself really bored and just like, what are we doing here? This is a very watered down version of From Dusk Till Dawn. But then the third act happens, and that was cool. But then this is stupid shit that also happens with the Asian lady doing that. All that, I was like, the fuck out of here with that. It's just dumb. There was just dumb things in it. But ultimately, overall, I still enjoyed it. I still recommend it. I love vampire flicks, and that's why I like it. Take away the vampire. I mean, there's no point to the movie. But I also heard that originally that script was for a Blade movie, and I was just like, ugh, the things that could have been. Somewhere in an alternate universe, that's a Blade film. Pretty cool. I would like to see Blade take out the KKK, and the KKK are vampires. Fuck, take my money. Um, all right. So what else do we got here? That's it. You know what? I'll come back later this week and do another video, and touch up on this. But ultimately, though, what's the lesson to be learned here, folks? Just don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole, and just communicate and don't stress. Try to find ways not to, even if it pains your ego, because in the end, it does more good for you than to, please your ego and inflate some sort of weird narrative subconsciously. It starts to eat you up. It's bad for you. Stress is bad. Remember, stress is worse than smoking. It can be. It can be. I'm not saying it is. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not telling you what, what is factual and all this stuff and the right, diagnosis and all that shit. But I am telling you from experience, and I've seen a lot of things. And at age 39, this starts to kind of tick a little bit. Listen to your body, but also while listening to your body, don't add more stresses to your body. Listen, 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 listen. And also, one thing is for sure, a lot of people I work in customer service, so I see a lot of this. Don't vilify someone because you don't like them. You doesn't mean you have to vilify someone and exaggerate that vilification, um, and try to make everyone believe that they are this monster or this bad person. Yes, you may not like that person. There are people I don't like in this world. There are pieces of shit that I could do without. But I know that if I think subconsciously that I want this person to be the villain of my story, that is a stressor that you add on to yourself. Why people do it, I don't know. Maybe to massage your own ego and have everyone on your side, perhaps. I get that, but it's wrong. It's bad, and just don't do it. Just don't do it because it's going to bite you in the ass in the end. So, um, just communicate, be kind, and just listen. You know, uh, communication, it really does fucking help. It really does. I can't stress that enough. It really helps. Um, so and try to take lots of naps if you can. Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. But it's been fun. It's been real. And what else do I got? Yeah, that's all I got, folks. So that I can't talk anymore because I need I need water. I need water because my lips are dry. Oh yeah, drink water too. Drink water. But ultimately, just don't be an asshole. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back. Thanks again. You folks have been awesome. If I don't see you before Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Have a safe one and eat as much as you want. And don't be an asshole. That's all there is to it. Don't be an asshole. Pick your battles. It's going to be okay because in the end, we're all going to die anyway. All right? And just like Ricky Gervais said, there is no sequel. So, anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching once again. But until then, I'm out. Peace.